What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Bling Empire. This is episode 4, so let's go ahead and talk about this episode because, as you all know, I love this show. A lot of the people on this show are some interesting characters, but let's go ahead and talk about it. So we start the episode off with Kane, Christine, Kelly, and her mom, and they meet up with this fortune teller, right? So he basically says that Kane, he is going to be very successful. You know, he's going to be a boss. And he also ends up letting Christine know that she will have 5 children. I don't know where he got this number 5 from, but I think she's going to stick to 1. So basically, he tells Kelly, though, that she should keep looking for the right guy because, as we know, Red Power Ranger, he ain't the guy for her. So then we see Kevin, Kane, Guy, Jamie, and Kim. They all go bowling, and Kevin, he just wants Kim to say what's on her mind, like say what your issue is, and Kim feels like Kevin started it. Next thing you know, Anna Shay, she shows up. I think she had like her kids with her. Guy runs up and apologizes, which is the right thing to do. But Anna Shay is like, you know, she goes and tells Kim, like, you had no right to go all through my house the way you did. And honestly, Kim was wrong. Kim was wrong as hell, period. Because if someone invites you to their home, where do you get off that you get to just roam through their house? Like, it wasn't like she was in there looking for the bathroom so that she could go use the bathroom. No, she was just rummaging through that lady's house just because. Like, did you not get taught as a child when you go to people's homes, you go to the areas that they allow you in, which are usually the common areas like the living room, outside, maybe a bathroom. If you're lucky and they like you, maybe the kitchen. Like, where do you get off that you could just go all through people's house? So after that, Kim, she gets super defensive, and she's like, you know, I'll just take the L on this. And I'm like, you still don't grasp the concept that you were wrong, which is blowing my mind. Next, we see Christine and Gabe, and they're looking for a new house. He brings up, you know, having another child, but she doesn't want to go through the scrutiny of his family, as we know. But here's the kicker, y'all. What got me, she basically broke down in her confessional and was like, I took the blame for everything for 10 years of his family treating her bad when really he was the problem. Which means that his little swimmers were not swimming where they should have been. And then for Gabe to get on there and say that he had to have multiple surgeries to have his situation corrected, I'm like, what the hell? Like, you let your wife go through that and you didn't step in and be like, Mom and Dad, you got to cut this out. Like, for 10 years, she had to do dishes for like that long. She had to sit at the kids' table, really? And where were you sitting, Gabe? Where were you sitting? So basically, she took the blame for the 10 years, and he realizes that he should have stepped up more, and he should have, you know, protected his wife, especially when it came to his parents insulting her. So the baby idea, they can go ahead and let that ship sail. I don't think that there will be any more children being born from Christine and Gabe. So now we're at Kane's house, and Kevin comes over with his DNA results. He says that he always felt like he was out of place, and I feel like he felt like he was out of place for 2 reasons. One reason being that he was adopted, so he wasn't with his birth parents, but also because he was adopted in a white household as well as a white area. So when you are only surrounded by an entire other race and nobody looks like you, nobody has any of your features, probably your natural mannerisms, yeah, it's going to be a problem. Like, you're going to grow up with a lot of self conflicts within yourself because you're going to continuously question yourself. So, also, when they had those flashbacks of him when he was younger, I'm like, who gave him that choppy bowl cut? Like, his haircut was so bad. But anyways, he ends up finding out that he was like 70 something percent Korean. So now he wants to learn more about his Korean background. We see the Red Power Ranger. He's in the studio. And at first I thought he was going to be the artist. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he's trying to be famous for singing now. But no, he manages other artists, according to Kelly. I don't know who would want him as a manager. But, have at it. It's your career. So the artists leave and he asks Kelly, if the other ladies ask about what happened in Paris. But he's asking this because, as we know, in the last episode, they had that conversation at Kane's party. And she's like, well, yeah, they kind of did. And he's like, that should be put to bed. And he didn't like that their private time was exposed. And Kelly, she's like, well, I mean, when you called me, like, Anna Shay heard you. Like, it's not like as if they were arguing in their apartment by themselves. You know what I'm saying? So he then tells her that, she told him, like, well, what am I supposed to say if they ask me anything? And then he tells her, you need to tell them that it's none of their business and that basically she needs to defend him. You need to defend that he was cussing your ass out for no reason? Absolutely not. So I feel like he's doing what? Mind manipulation, because after that part he gets kind of like super close to her face and he's like, do you not love me or do you? And like at that point she was ready to leave and ready to walk out and he was trying to be like, no. And I'm like, here goes the manipulation. He always wants for her to come crawling back to him after he treated her like crap. And I'm sorry, I am not here for that at all. Like, I understand that we tried to throw this back on him having all these childhood issues, but I'm like, no. At this point, this is my manipulation, what he does to Kelly. That right there is a behavior that he has learned and he has mastered how to try to control her, because I'm just so happy that she walked away, because please know, I think that if the cameras weren't rolling, she may have stayed there, honestly. Because the way he talks to her, and then he's like, do you love me or not? Am I the only one who realized that is my manipulation? Like, please let me know in the comments what y'all think. So yeah, she pretty much left. And that was the end of their scene. So then we see the 3Ks, aka Kevin, Kane, and Kim. They have a conversation about how he wants to meet his birth parents, but he also feels like he would be betraying his adoptive mom. And Kim, she kind of agrees with that feeling. And he's like, wait, you were adopted as well? No. Come to find out, her parents got divorced when she was around the age of 8. When her dad asked who she wanted to live with, she chose her mom, and she hasn't seen him since. Yeah, that's pretty messed up. Like, to just walk away from your kids, that's absolutely terrible. Hopefully, he will come back, I guess. I mean, I have my own feelings about when parents, they walk away from their kids and then they want to come back once those kids are full-grown adults. Like, you've left these children with daddy issues and then you want to come back open arms and act like we're one big happy family. Nope, it don't work that way. Anyways, after that, we see Kelly and her Power Ranger. They are back in therapy. And I will say, at first, I did not know if the therapist was going to like really, take Kelly's side in this, just because there was a lot of things in the last therapy session that I gave a side eye to, but I was here for her this episode. The therapist No, I'm sorry, not the therapist. Red Power Ranger, he talks about how there's this lack of effort and love and compassion for the other person. And I'm like, all the things that you're listing that there's a lack of for you is actually what you're lacking for Kelly. Like, you don't actually love Kelly. You don't have compassion for Kelly. You don't put in the effort for Kelly. Like, dude, you're listening to that about your own self, not about her. So the therapist brings up his childhood again, and she's like, you're interpreting everything as rejection, but I personally think that this is all manipulation, okay? So, because here's the thing. He sits up here, he causes all this ruckus, but I think that he just wants Kelly to coddle him the same way she's like, he just wants me to baby him. And like, after a while, like, you are an old grown adult, okay? Like, it's not like he's 18 to like 22 years old. He got to be in his 30s. Come on now. So after that, Kelly, she says that she wants to be happy, but I don't think that she could ever be happy with the Red Power Ranger on her arm. She wants a separation. And she says this in front of Red Power Ranger. And he's like, I'm just going to work on myself and I'm going to make this work because we're going to be together. Do you not see that we're in love and all this stuff? And I'm like, here comes the manipulation. Yet again, he's trying to convince her that they are so in love that they can get through this, even though this is toxic as hell. Then the therapist, she actually asked to talk to Kelly by herself, because I feel like at this point, the therapist definitely realized that this is all a mind game and manipulation of Andrew, because he ended up walking out of the room. So she basically asked Kelly, like, so do you want to be with him or not? Like, girl, do we need to come up with an escape plan? What's the exit strategy? Like, you got to get away from this dude. And I know I just put 20 on 10, but I feel like me and the therapist, we were on the same page when it came to this situation, because Kelly honestly needs to get away from Red Power Ranger, because I feel like he's the type of dude that'll do some crazy things, if you know what I'm saying, some real stalker type stuff, if she leaves him. So, she says that she does not want to be with him at the moment, or not even at the moment. She don't want to be with him. She talks about how she can go pack a bag for a week and leave, and then he can have a week to move out. Keep in mind, while all this is happening, he's outside the door praying to God that this relationship will still stand the test of time and hold together. Like, no, she needs to run away from your ass. So after that, he comes back in and she tells him, what her plans are. And he's like, okay, but I feel like this is not going to be the end of their drama. So after that, we see Kevin. He meets with his mom and tells his mom about Kelly. And I'm like, at this point, why do you keep talking about Kelly when she has a man? Like, it is kind of weird to tell your mother about a girl that you're interested in, but she has a boyfriend. Like, that's hella weird. He also talks to his mom about him wanting to know about his birth parents. And, she's fine with it. She's totally okay with it. She wants his parents to see the great guy that he became. So, good for them. Then we actually see that Kevin throws a party for his friends, and basically to celebrate him being in LA for 1 year. So everybody shows up except for Kane. He was actually sick. Kelly shows up and lets the group know that she broke up with the Red Power Ranger. So of course now this excites Kevin because he thinks he has a shot. We later see in the episode Anna Shay, she talks to Kelly, And, she's just like, well, since you left Red Power Ranger, we can redo Paris and we can live life to the fullest. And I'm like, girl, yes, y'all need to go ahead, go back to Paris and have a good time, do all the shopping that you want to do, and not ever think about Red Power Ranger again, okay? That pretty much wraps up this episode of Bling Empire. I will be back for the next episode. And let me know what you guys think about it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and give me a thumbs up. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.